Hey everybody, how's everybody doing today? I got the wrong page on. Anyway, I thought I had this down, but I keep having these like technical issues. It's mostly me, right? I change settings or I'm doing something. But anyhow, thanks for joining me today on another live stream photo editing session where I asked the viewers to send in their images to me through one of the links below and submit them, and then I'll edit them best I can. I'm not like the most creative person or, have, 30 years of experience in photography, but, hopefully, that's why I always like to get, feedback from the chat section as well. So if you have any suggestions that you'd like to see me try on the photo, I'm happy to try it, but I'll start off with what I think is kind of like in the right area to make the image have a little more story or impact, and then we'll look for some suggestions, because sometimes I get stuck. I'm like, there's a shot here, but I can't see it, but there's a shot somewhere in here. So that's why I always like to get suggestions. And something I'm going to do a little different today too is and this is kind of experimental, but I'm going to submit an image that I took, and I'll put a link down to it later before the stream is over, to an image that I took, and I'm going to ask you guys to edit it. So, and I'd be curious to see, because I got a shot yesterday. I took a shot on a photo walk that I thought was a really interesting subject, but I can't make anything work. I can't, I'm going to keep working on it to see, but there's a shot there, but I can't see it. So that's what I'm going to try and do. And so let me get set up here. Let's see who's here. John, Rick. Oh, Larry. Hey, how are you? I sent you an email today, Larry, about the camera. So check that out and see if you agree with that. And then yeah, beer. God, a beer would be nice actually while I'm doing photo edits instead of water. I don't know. I just ate an apple though, so I feel like cause I gotta eat a little bit between streams. I'm not feeling a beer after you eat an apple. Can you do that? Do people put apples in their beer? A beer would be nice though. I'll have to. I might get a taste for it here in a few minutes. But should rename this Comes the Chopper with Rob. I know, I do crop a lot. Okay, Jones, how are you? Oh, you love the edit sessions. I'm glad you like these. Hopefully you find them helpful, if not so much for composition and stuff, but just how to use Olympus Workspace to manipulate your own images, because I do use a lot of the different features that are available in Workspace to manipulate the images. So hopefully, if nothing else, you learn how to use Workspace. It's a great software. So anyhow, all the winos cover their bottles. Let's see the label. All right, I might do that. Okay, so let me pull up. God, should I go get a beer? I don't know. I don't know if that's allowed on YouTube or not. Like, I guess you can. Nick Carver drinks all. He has a whole series, right? Behind the Glass, with a Glass. Have you guys ever seen Nick Carver's streams, or not streams, but videos when he talks about some whiskey or drink and then talks about cameras? But I try to be as neutral as possible on YouTube, because they're so sensitive, about anything you talk about or do on your channel. Oh, so use Photoshop. Okay. All right, that's good. I'm glad you like my compositions too. Better not, just to make sure, huh? Yeah, maybe not. Okay, so let's pull up the first. There was a bunch came in today. Well, I guess about the same as usual, about a dozen or so. Where am I? How come I'm not in the picture? There we go. Okay, I'm gonna move. I'm gonna move over a little bit because if you ever notice in my other live streams, I'm like looking this way, and then I'm always looking at the pictures like off angle when I'm doing these streams. But today I'm gonna try and look at it straight on, even though it might look a little weird. Let me see if I can move. Move this out of the way. Okay. You put your 4150 Pro on a Pen F? Oh, that's hilarious. Yeah, that's a big lens. Not as big as the 300, right? Okay, so let's look at this. What do we have here? We have a brick chimney with this concrete. Oh, this is interesting. This must be some sort of this looks more commercial or industrial. It doesn't look very, I mean, it could be a residential or something, but usually when you have these kind of weird structures or designs, it's because there's a industrial purpose for it. What's up here in the corner? Looks like a little titmouse bird. Well, that's the image right there. I guess I'll just crop right here and call it a day. uh, I I mean, there's this chimney. This chimney just feels out of place next to these pyramids. Yeah, pyramid with chimneys, right? It's an oldish house. Okay, Bob. Oh, this is your shot, isn't it, Bob? This is Bob's shot. Let's see what the we'll talk about the EXIF data just because some people like to know what camera and stuff like that. So what is it? It's a Olympus 14 to 54 with the M1 Mark II at f/18. Wow. Why did you shoot at such a high aperture? Or narrow aperture? I'm not sure what you would call it. ISO 200, 1/60th. Yeah, you could have done a lot better than f/18. I would have shot this at like f/8 and then have a shutter speed closer to, you know, what is that f/8? That's like three or four stops, man. You could have been at like 1/800th of a second. But okay, chimney needs to be on the left. Okay. Honestly, I feel like the image is over here though because of this little bird. It's just too bad I think because you're at f/18, the image is a little bit softer than it would have been otherwise. Because the other pictures you sent with this lens, Bob, have been really tack sharp. So this one, yeah. Oh, you didn't spot it till it's too late. Yeah, it happens to me all the time. It's like, why am I at f/18 or f/20, right? Because I was doing a starburst image, and then I went off and I was doing regular images, and I was still at like f/18. But yeah, I think something like this. I think the bird is the bird is the most interesting thing. I just wish it was sharper. But let's pretend you took this shot at like f/8 instead of where's my cropping thing here? Let's try a square crop with pyramids. And that's not square. Hold on. Can't aim. Well, let's just try a square crop first. Yeah, I'm gonna get rid of this chimney. think that's about as tight as I can get right there. Oh, old player, there's a link below in the show description of where to send your photos. I don't know if I even need this tip here. Maybe just crop it right to the very tip. Like that. Yeah, I think that works. I like this. I like the zigzag of these triangles and everything. And then I'm gonna add some little bit of punch here, like so. Put the sharpness back in. I might have to get tighter. I'd like to see the bird a little more. But I think it stands out enough. Just enough, because when I get too close, there's not much detail there. So maybe just keep it backed off and focus on building up the texture in the brick, and then the bird will be a nice little accent on the brick, right? So I need to punch up the color though a bit. Let me try pop art. Let me, yeah, there. Well, yeah, it's not sharp, Bob, because you're at f18, so diffraction starts to set in where just the light scatters at a very, very microscopic level and makes the image soft. That's all. I mean, long story short. Let me see how monochrome looks. And we'll use a green filter. No, I like the color. I just need to make the red pop a little bit more. Where's my color? My adjust color. Okay. And let's take a little bit of green out. I think that's it. That's all I would do here. So really we're focusing on the geometry of all the triangles, and then the bird is just a nice little accent on there. The black and white didn't cut it for me because the image is just a little bit too soft for black and white even. Maybe, oh, yeah, when all hope is lost, dramatic tone. Let's try that. Where is it? Dramatic tone. You know, the problem with the art filters, they work really well with raw images, but they get destroyed. They destroy a lot of JPEGs to the point that, especially dramatic tone, it's hard to do dramatic tone filter on JPEGs. No, it doesn't, Nature. Olympus Workspace only works with Olympus RAW files. It'll work with JPEGs from any camera, but what I might have to do is start editing using Lightroom, because Lightroom is actually can do a lot more with the RAWs than even Olympus Workspace. Olympus Workspace is great for, you know, applying art filters and doing minor edits like I do here, but if you want to get hardcore with editing, man, Lightroom is the way to go. But I think this is it. So let's look at the before and after. So would that be this button here? And that's the direction I would go. I mean, I like the original image, but I feel like it's not enough. I'd need to see more of the structure so that the chimney wasn't, because in the picture on the left, the chimney is a much bigger subject than the bird, but the bird is a lot more interesting to me. Because you expect the chimney to be there, right? Your eyes just look at that, okay, there's a chimney here. But there's nothing interesting about the chimney. So you have to find something interesting in the image. So and this to me is the geometry in the bird. And the chimney is just doesn't add any value to it. Maybe, you know, the chimney would look good if there was smoke coming out of it on a winter day, like it's actually heating something, but, or maybe, you know, somebody's cooking in one of the windows in the lower part of the building, and you can see the smoke going out of the chimney, because maybe that's for like smoke from kitchens and things. But as it is, I don't think it adds anything. But okay, I think that was a good edit there. Yeah, the shapes, right? Okay. Oh, thanks, Rick. I think the crop works. Yep. All right, so we have a raw image of some ponies. Oh, my workspace is really slow today. Maybe what I need to do is clear out the cache. Look at this hourglass going. And what's my... Or did it just freeze up? It did. All right, hold on. Let me switch over to here. Let me see if I can restart this. This computer has been on since yesterday. I haven't rebooted today, so it's... Yeah, mine doesn't do that a lot, but... meaning it doesn't crash very often. But I'm gonna... Give me 30 seconds here to clear out the cache of the raw file. Sometimes if I clear the cache, it'll... Clear edited. Okay. So I'll show you what I'm doing just so you guys know. So I go into this here, tools, database, and clear cache. And I just check everything and I delete. All right, then let me find where are the pictures at. Pictures. There we go. All right. Send me your cache. Oh, see, it just came right up. It's still a little bit slow, but it's much better now. Yeah, I love ponies. What's this over here? This is just hair. That's a little unfortunate the way this is coming out, because it's a little distracting on this horse. It looks like a lens problem, but it's actually that's actually real life there. This can go really two ways because the tones are really nice here. I really like the tones here and all in the background. The composition is really good. So I either need to work with the color more because the tones are good, but it's kind of flat. It's a little bit muted. So it's either, yeah, a little more saturation in certain colors, or just go monotone. So I'm gonna just eyeball the monotone real quick. What? I kind of like that too. Let me look at Vivid. If I can build a little more contrast between these two guys. Let me try monotone with a green filter. I don't like this rock. This one rock is really bugging me. I hate to crop this at all, but I just don't like this one rock. So what if I did a 16 by 9? And go Vivid. Yeah, I'm in Vivid. There. That I just had to get rid of that distracting rock. So we're in a 16 by 9. Now I'm debating about this part right here. Let me see. Cotton nose, right. Okay, we're getting there. Oh, now lose. Yeah, see, now the comments are coming in. You guys are thinking exactly the same as me, right? There's a little bit of lag, apparently. I think we're almost there. So let me see if I can get the tones a little bit stronger. Yeah, I like what that's doing. And let's add some saturation. This is Hugh Perry's image. Olympus Pen F with a at f10 1/1250th of a second, ISO 400. The only color that's a little bit soft here, could be better, is this purple. So I'm going to see if I can bring that in with this. I need to set it back to natural. That's okay. Give this a second to draw in. Oh, hey, Deb. Yeah, you know, I tried. I mean, I hear lots of good things about Affinity, and I've tried, but I've never used it. Corel Aftershot, yeah, it was terrible. It was terrible. I could not use it at all. That was probably about 4 years ago. I tried it. I didn't like it. Anyway, I'm sorry. Let me see if I can get that purple to come in a little stronger. Oh man, raw files. Yeah, there we go. And then we'll brighten them up a little bit. All right, I think that's all I can do on the purples. And then these orangish tones, let me crank that up a little bit. Because the white balance is just about perfect too. So it's outside, so the light is good. And Eric's saying clone the cotton away. I guess you mean this part right here. Maybe. Maybe a little bit. You want to get rid of this whole thing? My problem is if I get rid of that, Bob, is it crops in a little bit too tight. I feel like that's just too tight right there. I guess it's not terrible. We'll go with it, but I don't like it being that tight. Let me back out a little bit. "16 by 10, maybe." Yeah, I'm just not a fan of freehand cropping. I like to use just standard crops. Let me just leave it here for now. I'll come back to the cropping later. I'm just trying to get the colors right. And yeah, it needs to be a little bit tilted this way. I think that'll help with some of the all right, we're good. Let me see if I can do anything with this eye. Man, this is sharp. What lens is this? This has got to be I can't even guess what lens this is. Let me take a look at the lens. I'm just curious. 300 millimeter. So this is the Panasonic 40 to 150. Zoomed all the way out to 150 millimeters at f10. Man, that's a... If you have that lens, shoot at f10, man. It's really sharp. Okay. Okay, what I want to do is I might brush in, like maybe get a little bit over here, this fuzz, and then accent the eyes a little bit, like get a little bit of a catch light in. And what's Rick saying? Number one tip on any animal photography is keep looking at the animal's eyes. It's the eyes that bring the animal. Yeah, in Photoshop this would be easy to pull out the eyes, but in Workspace this is a little bit trickier. But I can do a little bit. I can add a little fake catch light to it, but I can't accentuate. I can't brighten the eyes, but I can add a little catch light in artificially. Hey Roman, how are you? So I think that's what I'll do. And I might brush this piece of rock out just a little bit. So let me try a little bit of brushing here. Let's see. I need to be zoomed in just a tiny bit more. Tiny bit more right there. Okay. So I'm going to use the clone stamp tool. Let me see. We need to probably be about that size. Tiny bit of blur. We'll grab some. Oops, wrong button. This one. Need a smaller brush. A little bigger than that. A little bigger than that. Hold on. My brush stopped working. Let me back off just a tiny bit. Okay, and then I'm going to turn the opacity down. So what I'm doing, I have to use a clone stamp tool in Workspace. So I'm just going to grab this part here and brush it into the eyes to kind of brighten them a little bit, rather than, since I don't have like a real brush, and see how that looks. Okay, that's too strong. So let me try again. It's about the right size. turn the opacity way down. And let's grab maybe this part of it, something a little brownish maybe. Yeah, there we go. Perfect. So I need a little bit more light. Let's try again. Oh, this thing is really dragging. That's too strong, dang it. Go back down to about 22%. Try one more time. All right, that's good. And see if there's any hope of brushing any of this out. Well, let me turn the opacity back up. And I need some more blur. This is really blasphemy, you know? brushing things out that really shouldn't be. I mean, I can understand brushing out little twigs and things, but this kind of brushing out is probably frowned upon a little bit. But I'm going to do it anyway. That should be enough. All right, let's back off and see how that looks. Not too bad. Give that a second to snap in. Oh, I need to brush out one more thing and then we'll move on. Golly, my computer's slow. See, this is why I was looking at new computers. I need to be faster. Let me punch in here. I just want to brush out that rock a little bit. So we'll start here. All right, good enough. All right, I think that's all I can do. Too much going on in the background, yeah. I mean, I made it worse by trying to increase the saturation here on the purple flowers. But I think this is the direction I'm going to go. As soon as it finishes rendering, it hates when I do cloning. So it got rid of this. Now it needs to do this side, and then it'll be done. Hey, flying fish photo, how are you? Or fly fishing photo. Let's look at the before and after here. It didn't finish rendering this one part where I brushed out, but basically I just brought the color out more, right? Add a little bit of a catch light in the eye, and got rid of this giant rock. I don't know how to point this giant rock right here out of the image, and I think we're done. Yeah, I think that works. I mean, the only other direction you could go is like, instead of saturating the purples here, is desaturate them so that they blend in more with the rocks. But other than that, yeah, nice picture though. Yeah, it's a nice image. It just needs a little bit of work to get it perfect, and then you can make a really nice image you could put up on your wall. But okay, let's try the next one here. Oh, okay, some kind of boat here. Some kind of steamboat or something. What is that? That looks like a... Interesting. And let me see what the camera info is, just for grins. This is the Olympus 12-40 Pro with the EM1 Mark III. All right, nice setup. Manual white balance, interesting. ISO 200 f7.1, 1400. So yeah, settings seem perfect. Paddle steamer. Okay, thank you, Bob. Perfectly exposed. And it's been a little bit processed already in the JPEG. I think a little beyond the natural color profile. Because it feels like there's more contrast here than I would normally get. That's a nice picture. I would get rid of this. I'm going to get rid of this and all of this down here. This mast here for one of the sailboats. So we're in a marina. And so let's do that first and then see what else is in the... Did I get an ISO monitor? No, heck no, they're $1,000. You know, my monitor, I got 100% sRGB coverage. I'm happy. It's a little bit dimmer than it used to be, but I can deal with that rather than spend $1,000. That's more than I made on my last job. I can't do that. Wait. Let me stick to 4:3. I just want to crop this out first and see where that gets me. Man, now we lose the front of the steamboat or paddle boat. What did you call it, Bob? A paddle steamer. Okay. Dang it. I like, you know, when you get a boat, it's always good to get the front or the whole thing in the image. But with that freaking sail mast there, it's kind of wrecking it. Yeah, ViewSonic makes good monitors. That's true. I had a ViewSonic before I had this one. This one I bought in 2012. But before that, I used a ViewSonic. All right, let me look at the whole thing again. I can't do this image without the front of the boat in it, because if I just capture the back, it just doesn't look right. The other option is to focus right here. And cut off the back and the front at the same time, maybe. If I do that, I wonder. No, I don't like that either. So I'm going to go super wide here. I'm going to go 16:9. And I'm going to crop off this side of the landscape, because there's this like background that's not bad. And Rick likes the sky in the water reflecting. That's true. I don't want to lose too much of that. Maybe right about there. Because now we got the reflection of the boat into the water and you can still see some of the sky. Too much crop, huh, Roman? I don't know. I don't think I can go out. Let me see what's everybody babbling about the sky down here. I mean, this is kind of cool. I guess I could go this way and then brush out one of the masts. Let me clone out a piece of that. Okay. All right, I think this crop kind of works. And then let me see what I can do about these colors. It needs a little bit of pop somewhere. And I want to make these red pop right here. And yeah, take the blue down a little bit here. It's going to be hard to take the blue out of the building without killing the blue and all the sky and everything, right? Because, you know, Photoshop, you could do that easily, but it's a little harder in Workspace. I can try. That's kind of a tealish blue. Let me focus on the tealish blue. Maybe this one and see. Can I take more sky and less water with the same crop? I could. I could. I'll come back to that. Maybe just right here. Now the boat is kind of front and center. Okay, so I brought, yeah, this blue here is more teal than the sky, but the sky has a lot of teals back here. I kind of lost all that. Maybe I can bring it back with this blue. Probably not. I don't think I'm gonna get the blues back, but that's fine. Let's go with this because the building is more distracting than the sky not being blue, I think. And I want to bring this red down in here, so I might need some luminance. Man, there's a lot of red crap back here. I didn't even touch this. Maybe this just go off slightly. Yeah, that's better. All right, that brought the reds up just about right. And tiny bit of blue there. And then I'm going to maybe a touch on the shadows. And just tiny bit warmer, just a tad. Where's my white balance? There, because there's a little bit of a yellow in here that I want to try and I'm going to try and move the entire white balance over to capture that part. Maybe just a tad more. Yeah, Rick's suggesting that the crop right in on the steamer here, but I don't think there's enough detail in this image to do that. It's going to look a little muddy. So I'll show you when I punch in. Well, no. This looks good actually. We're getting there. I'll try that too, Roman. I'll try Rick's and Roman's suggestions here. Let me try and get the contrast up a little better using the haze. And I'm gonna have to probably notch that a little bit. All right. I think this is where I would leave it if I want to capture sort of the whole scene. This is about where I would leave it. So you can see this blue building. This is what Rick was saying was the most distracting. But to kill the blue here, I had to kill the blue in the sky a little bit, but that's okay. Because once I warmed it up, I feel like this feels a little more golden hour-ish to me. So this is where I would leave it, but let me try the two other crops. Yeah, there's a lot going on there, right, Plato? I agree. But let me try a square crop. I was kind of going this direction in the beginning, but I felt like maybe I just had to go very tight because I wasn't going tight enough. Let me see right there. No. This kind of works. I just don't think there's enough detail in a shot. You would really need a 300mm f4 to get into all this detail. Because if I crop any tighter, there's just not enough detail left in the shot. I still like the way the colors are though from the original edit. I mean, if we go really tight, I think Rick, you're just in love with your 300mm f4. So now you see everything at 300mm. Because I just there's just not enough detail here for me to crop in. I mean, I like the boat itself, the ship. I love all of this wood. And then I would straighten it if I were going to go this tight. But that's another option, right? And then add some fake sharpening. Yeah, I lose Scotland. Oh, yeah, I can't do too much sharpening because we're just cropped in too much. Yeah, that's a good shot though. But yeah, you need to have a 300 to get a shot like this. The shot as it was, it's just totally different now. That I think the original shot, the original crop, I like my original crop right in here. Let's try a dramatic tone filter. I think that's what Roman wanted to try. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff everywhere, right? But you know, when you go to a scene like this, and all you have is your 12 to 40 Pro, you got to make it work, right? With what you got. So this is, I think we have to go wider. Cropping in that much on an image with a 12 to 40 Pro just doesn't make sense. Let me go back. Because it was perfectly level before. It didn't look level when I cropped in, but when you back off, it's a level shot. Actually, this dramatic tone too doesn't look bad. Let me put a red filter. Oh, I don't know if I can do a red filter. I can, but I have to switch the color to monotone. And then put this into red, and that'll bring out the reds more. I really want to bring this red down here out. It's going to make these barrels back here pop a little bit too, but I really like the black and white on this too. There we go. That's a nice image too, I think. Right there. See, when you make it full screen, there's a lot going on to look at. I like this. So just monochrome with a red filter so that this waterline here comes out a little better. And I think I need to turn these color things off that I did before. Let me turn these off and see. Yeah, that's better. So I think this is the edit I would go with. This works for me. Let me get out. Right? Really nice shot. I think black and white works really well. Okay, let's go to the next one. Nice shot, Trevor. This is where you have to make a 12 to 40 work with a shot like this, right? Okay, we have a oh, this is one of those wasps that, let me get over here a little bit and look straight on. Nice square crop. I think this is just about right. I would just go tiny bit tighter. Yeah, the black and white got rid of the distractions. Yeah, I agree. Sometimes color is distracting, right? And then I would throw some sharpness back in. And it's a little bit too warm, actually. I normally like warm images, but this one's a tad bit too warm. So I'm going to pull that off a little bit. I want this flower to be a little more white. So I'm going to pull off the warmth. There, that's better. I think this water, let me look at the okay, flying, we'll catch you later. Maybe if I do this, it'll make it, yeah, there we go. And a tiny bit here. Let me touch the shadows a bit. And I'm gonna crop it, or I cropped it, but I need to angle it a little bit differently. Let me move it over just a bit. I want the wasp to be kind of at an angle because it's a little bit too squared off the way it is. Let me try that. Yeah, I like that. Where am I on sharpness? I can go a little more. Yeah, it looks good. Looks good. I'd like to get rid of this green down here. I hate to keep cropping, but I don't like this. I'll keep it square. I want to get rid of this green. It's a little bit too square now. I chopped his wing off. All right. Try a 3x2, maybe. You would go taller, Bob? Like a portrait? I'm not sure. I would go square, but I don't think I would go this way. Yeah, I don't like that. I think a square crop is best. I just need to kind of get it so I'm not clipping the wings or anything. I think that's where I'm going to go, right there. So let's take a quick look before and after. I mean, they're both really good. I think this original image is not bad, but I can't see the details of the wasp as well. Now, you know, when you're cropped in, now you can see all the little hair sticking out and the little droplets on the, you know, more droplets on the flower than you could before. Like these droplets here and here are a little bit more prominent, whereas over here they're just kind of there, but they're not doing anything. So by adjusting some of the contrast and then making the color pop, I think that's the only other thing I would do is pop some of the oranges. Hold on. Let me see, I'm in saturation. Add just a little bit more there. And pull off the green a little bit. And the luminance. All right, I think this is it. And you know, it's not easy to focus on bugs like this, right? Believe me, I've tried. Let's see what the settings are. But you know, basically I just made the oranges pop more and pulled off a little bit on the greens and added some contrast. And you just had to crop in closer so you could see all of the details on this wasp, because you really nailed the focus here. I mean, that to me, that's an image. That's a good shot. Wow. Let's see what the gear was real quick. 12 to 40 Pro EM5 Mark III. We're at f8, 1/640th of a second. Yeah, perfect settings. You really couldn't ask for better settings than that. Really good. Who is that? Oh, Des. Des sent this in. He sends in pictures every week. That's awesome. All right, let's go to the next one. Oh, I like this. The problem here, I think the lights here are competing with the light from the moon and the light from this house. So I'm gonna have to get rid of one of the lights here in the water. Yeah, it's really, really nice picture, right, Roman? It's like a postcard, right? Let me just look at it full screen for a second. But to me, there's just too many lights now. I would, if I'm gonna work, you know, for me, if I want to get the reflection of all this light, I would only want one light source, like a single moon coming in. But this mix of this red, then this row here, all coming into the water, doesn't really work for me. See, if we crop in and get rid of one of the lights, like I just got rid of the moon, I mean, that right there to me looks a lot better. Just to me, right? I mean, somebody might really like the original one. But I gotta get rid of this and the moon. I just like this part right here. Because with the moon in it, because the moon is not shining really onto the lighthouse here. See, the lighthouse doesn't need the moon at all. So I feel like getting rid of the moon. I mean, there's about 10 different crops here that would work. This is not quite working. Larry thinks the moon makes the picture. And Roman thinks I should square it off and keep the moon in there. Let's try that. That's a little better because now we don't have all that moon in the water. Because that reflection of the moon in the water was just overwhelming the picture, but up here it kind of works. And this must be a high aperture. Let me look at the settings. This is 40 to 150 f/08 at f20. Yeah, so that's how you got this starburst effect on these lights. Man, this lens has really nice starburst on it. Too bad it didn't starburst the actual light here. All right, yeah, now let's kill some of the saturation here. There's something that's a little bit too. What choices do I have? I mean, monochrome is maybe monochrome might work. Let me put a red filter in to bring the lighthouse out. I mean, this is not as nice as the color image, but I just wanted to look at it. Yeah, the color is better. I just have to desaturate a little bit. It's just a little bit too strong. let me desaturate. Where am I on the history? Oh man, I can do this. I can bring this in. Bring the exposure down. Bring some of the color back. I took a little too much out, maybe about half that, right there. Who's this? Timothy Hanko. I don't know if Timothy's here or not. Let me just try a little tighter crop. All right, I think that's where I would go. And let me, where's my, oh, I don't have it on this one. I wish I could go negative clarity a little bit. It needs to be a little bit softer. So let's do a soft focus and then reduce the effect. About right there, and then I gotta darken it again. All right. Roman, I don't know if I'm going to do too much saturation, to be honest. Let me go back. I mean, if I put it back to the original sharpness, I feel like that just hurts my eyes. I gotta back it off. Maybe I won't back it off as much as I did, but just a little bit right there. Then let me check the lines. It feels like it's just slightly off. Now the lines are straight. (9:16), so just go tall again. Portrait mode. I didn't like the portrait. Let's do a 3. This works actually now. Now that I softened it a little bit. Maybe just a little bit tighter than this, but I think we're okay. Okay. I like this now. I thought this would be too much right here, but I kind of like it now. Now that everything's kind of a little bit softer. Yeah, Bob, if I feel like if I get all of this reflection, I don't like how it ends here. I just wanted to cut it off right about there. And go with that. All right, let's compare that before and after. So it was really good where it was. Basically, I just made it a little softer and took a little bit of saturation out. I mean, after looking at the crops like I had before, the square crop and stuff, I didn't like it. I like this better. I like your original crop better. But I would just add some softening to it. But that's it. Okay. Yeah, a little more sky above the moon, but yeah, that would be nice. But maybe a tiny bit more. Let me go tiny bit more. Because, you know, if I narrow it a little bit, it will, it'll make the space above the moon like appear like we had a little more than before. Let's see. So the one on the right is the edited picture. I think this works though. Just a little tighter crop so you can see a little more of the detail here, but I think we're good. I'm wondering if we should actually go a little bit cooler. And I'm assuming that's the moon and not the sun. But okay, let's move on. Nice shot though. Oh, this is a twilight shot, but everything is too dark here. To me, right, that the image is right here. I don't know what's going on in here with these disco lights, but this is where the image is for me. Or right here. I would, yeah, this needs to be a wide crop so we get rid of this bottom part and all of this in the top. And then hopefully we can recover some of the shadows. I mean, it's a JPEG, so there's a little hope I can recover some of that, but this needs to be wide, maybe 16 by 7. Right there. Oops. Right there. And so I like how the sky is here and here in the water. Oh, it's a raw. Okay, thanks, Eric. Sorry. Oh, this is your image, huh, Eric? Okay, awesome. Man, it's taken me a while to get through these today. But let me see if I can. This would be so much better in Lightroom. It's really hard to bring up shadows and things in Workspace. Because in Workspace, these sliders are a little bit too granular. And what I'd like to do, let me see what I can do this. No. Right there. Yeah, nature, I'm kind of with you because this is a little bit soft out of frame. You know, when I punched into it, I was thinking about cropping it out because it's just not, it's not sharp. Let me look at the whole image again. I gotta. I'm almost thinking a vertical now. Let me go back to this wide. How about that? I think that works a little better. And then this little corner here, a little bit out. Okay, let's see. Let's let that render a little bit. But I think this is where I'll go. I don't know. I'm leaning towards a vertical now. I like this part of the water right here. So I'm thinking just crop it over here. Get rid of, just forget about all this. Let me just see what a vertical would look like. Crop a little bit tighter. What is that? Hey Des, how are you? I did your picture earlier. Yeah, it's tricky, right, Eric? Yeah, I've been there many times. Maybe a square crop, because it's just too much of each. This kind of works. Yeah, see, Bob, you and I are on the same page again, right? Yeah, I think this works best. It's just a little bit slow to render, but this is where I would go. Colors and everything are fine, but this is where I would go. And this is an image that would really do well in Lightroom, because you could easily sharpen some of these details and make these tiny little lights in the building pop a little better with the highlight slider. Because with this one, it's if I try and increase the highlights to bring out these little pops of light, it destroys the sky. But see, in Lightroom you could do a little better job, because the sliders don't grab so much of the image at once. Okay, but yeah, nice shot, Eric. Oh, it would look like crap, Roman, but I'll show you. Let me just show you the yeah, it just, I think if we went really super wide and tight, we wouldn't see that nice transition from that glowy purple to black, which is, I think, what's most interesting. You know, because you're probably thinking something like this, right? My problem with this image, give it a second to render out, but my problem with this is that this purple, I'd like to see it fade off into black, like in the vertical crop or the square crop. But the way it is here, it's just, I don't think that we get that effect, right? All right, let's move on to the next one though. Good shot, Eric. It's just I think the original crop that we had, Well, anyway, the one I showed earlier. Okay. Oh, cool. Look at that. This has got to be a 40 to 150 or a 300 lens. You don't get detail like that with a kit lens. Let's take a look. I gotta see it. Olympus 50 to 200 on EM1. That's two things I never tried before. That's amazing. Because I don't have an EM1 or that lens. Wow, look at that. This is like a, you know, what's this, about an 8-year-old camera. Yeah, old player, I do photo edits every Thursday and Sunday. I think I would just crop the bottom off a little bit. Just so we can see all that detail. And then, well, that's a little bit too tight. Like that, maybe. And then add a little contrast. Right about there. What color is this? These are kind of purplish. So let me see if I can make the purples pop out a little more. Oh, I don't think I can. Yeah, the adjust colors off. So there's a leaf or something in front of this feeder too. I'm going to get this line out up here and a little bit of this blur on that side. And then we'll just do saturation. I think that's it. Yeah, amazing detail, right, Eric? It's surprising for like an 8-year-old camera. Yes, it's got to be the old the Zico 50 to 200 because they don't make a new 50 to 200. The closest thing is the 40 to 150 now. So he had to be using an adapter. Who is this? This is Jose's picture. And he sent me the raw files, so it's a lot easier to edit. So I can probably just add a tiny bit of noise. Where is it? Noise filter, just a low. Now let's try medium. Let's kill off a little bit of this grain. There. And tack the sharpness. The red channel. Yeah, I thought I could do it with adjust color, but I'll have to do it with the tone curve. Let's do it that way. Oh, if I do it that way. Okay. Take the red channel. I think that's what you meant, right, Rick? With the red, is just tone it down a bit. Just a little bit like that. No? I'm not sure. Maybe word it a different way. I'm not sure what you mean. Demonstrate how red always comes to the fore and competes with subjects. Yeah, I mean, red is like your eye is most sensitive to red of all the colors. That's why BMW, a lot of times, I don't know if they still do, but they used to have red, orangish dash, right? Dash lights. Take away the red altogether. I cannot do that with this file. Unfortunately, not without killing, kind of killing it. Because the bird has this like purplish in here, which I don't want to lose. So I can reduce it slightly, but that's about it. Yeah. Because there's some reds in here that keeps it nice and warm too. But yeah, if I had the adjust colors up here, I could do it, but this has been grayed out with this file. So what I have to do is export this as a TIFF or work with it in Lightroom or Photoshop. Because when I export this as a TIFF, I lose some detail and stuff too. I haven't quite figured out why, because a TIFF is supposed to be an uncompressed, pretty faithful reproduction of a raw image, but it's not. Okay. But yeah, I think this let me bring a little bit more red back in, not that way, this way. I think this is where I would end it though. So basically all I did was crop in and add a little contrast, right? But yeah, amazing the sharpness on this lens. And I reduced the noise a little bit without killing the sharpness too much. So what I did is I used the noise reduction filter and then I added the sharpness back in. So I think it came out pretty good. Okay, let's move on to the next one. Oh, we've seen this one before kind of, but this one has ice now instead of, this is like the winter version. I think the one before was like in the summer. Because now this has this needs to be a little bit straighter. This is like a drone shot or something. What camera is this? Or a helicopter shot? No, this is the 75mm f1.8 with an EM1. Okay. Oh, it's the same shot, it's just a variation? Okay. I seem to remember, well, there they are. Okay, this is what I remember is these trees. God, I don't remember this ice in the picture before, though. Oh, Frank is here. Okay, this is your shot. So, the shot before didn't have ice in it, right? Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, this is, but this needs to be straightened again. And what's that? It's a buoy. Okay. No, I didn't crop the ice, Roman. There was no ice before. I would bring out this green a little bit. Let me see. Let me just work with luminance. I'd like to see more of this here. It's more of a blue, isn't it? Blue and teal. This whole side of the image has to be Has to be brighter. There we go. And then let's get some contrast in here like that. See if I can get some textures back into the ice. Yeah, crop hammer. I got nothing to crop on this one. I might crop out this one little tree and just keep this little tail here. How do these people get on the island? Look at this. I guess they just walk over this ice. But anyway, yeah, I'm gonna crop that piece out and keep this tail in. And I think that's it. I need to take a little bit off right there. Okay. Yeah, I like it right there. Perfect. Sometimes I kind of feel like maybe I can just forget about the water and just crop in on the ice, because that's actually the most interesting thing. The colors in the water aren't so vibrant this time. Maybe just get a little bit of the water but focus on the ice. Let me see. Need a wider angle. Yeah, actually this time I don't really care about the water anymore. Oh, there we go. We're getting there. We'll capture a little bit of boundary of this water. Oops, I accidentally... There. I just want the water to boundary it a little bit. There we go. Yeah. Bob called it. So I think this will look good full screen, like this. Because yeah, all this blue water, just, it didn't have anything in it anymore. If I remember the last picture, you could kind of see all of it. But this time, all I want to get is this part and this ice. This ice is the most interesting thing. Let me look at... Man, this 75 to 300 is amazing. Look how far away he was, and then look at all the detail in here. Okay, nice shot. Nice shot, Frank. I think this is where I would this is where I would go. Okay, let's move on. I have a lot of images here. Ooh, I bet this is Deb. Who is this? Yeah, Deb. Saying because this dog looks familiar. So we need to brighten it up. Needs to be warmer too. I want to make this light up here yellow, but then down in here a little bit less yellow. I'm not sure how I'm going to do that. Oh, this is the sister? Okay. Oh, hey, Deb, you're here too? Okay. Let me see if I can brighten this up. I need a little bit more in the shadows. Okay. And I need to straighten it. There. Okay. And all of this back here is a little bit distracting, so I think I'm going to I'm going to crop. I think a square crop. Square or portrait, depends. Yeah, I might have to go right. Dang it, the window is bothering me. Let me go back out to a 4x3. All right. And it's a little bit soft, so I'm taking off the turning off the noise filter, because when I punched in, I lost a lot of detail on the hair. And what are we at? We're at ISO 1600. Yeah, I think we can get away without a noise filter. Yeah, I cropped it, Plato. I cropped it. I might crop some more, actually. But what I wanted to do is try and get the floor in, so that you know he's laying on a floor. But I might be able to do that with less floor. This part here is a little bit too light. Let me... I mean, I don't want to cut off both paws. I can cut off the ear, but the ear lines up with the paw. And I kind of like the back. Meaning the back of it, like the neck here and everything, just to kind of show the size of this animal. God, what a meathead. No offense. But these dogs, I always call this type of look, you know, where they got the short nose and loose skin. I just call them meatheads. Gosh, this crop is not working for me. Rick thinks all the way in the eyes, but I'd have to cut off something. Let me cut off the background. I'm going to cut something off. That kind of works, actually. Let me see. Let's cut out all the carpet and all the background. And work with just the animal. Ah, that's a little bit too tight. Let me see. I need to go wider, maybe. Whoops. 5x4, 3x2. Let me go a little bit wider. So I'm going to capture more of the dog, but less of the background. Maybe not that wide. The 4x3 was good. Okay. Oh, it's just too tight. I think Plato's right. We need a little more context. So I'm going to go back out to right there. Yeah, this works, I think. So I need to brighten eyes up a little bit. So I'm just gonna fake it with a clone stamp. Oh, need it to be a little bit blurrier than that. Okay, a little bit here. Okay, and then let me see if I can add one more, a little bit smaller but brighter. Okay, a little bit more here. Now it looks cross-eyed. Let me work with this a minute. I need some contrast or color. Something's a little bit off. Because since this was shot indoors, you know, I turned the keep warm all colors off. I think there's some artificial lighting here messing with the colors. Because you got this natural light out here, which is really good stuff. But then the lighting hitting the dog in the front it's got to be artificial light. Or light bouncing off a colored couch or something. Because the color here is not matching at all what's up here. Let me dehaze a little bit. If I dehaze, that'll make the eyes a little bit punchier, I think. Yeah, when you're shooting indoors and you have a lot of natural light coming in, turn off the artificial lighting in the house and then expose for the shadow area, and it's okay to let the highlights blow out, and you'll get, I think, a more interesting, you'll get better light overall. Horrible yellow energy saver lights, yeah. I mean I only you probably think I'm like a genius, right? But I only recognize this because I do a lot of real estate photography where lighting is always a problem. So when it's so obvious to me when I see it, when you're mixing natural light with artificial lighting. So it's just the you know, I'm not like an animal photographer, but when I see light like this, it's glaring to me what the problem is. Uh, I kind of like this. But yeah, Deb, just be very conscious because your last dog picture had really bad lighting too. Meaning not that the light was, I mean there was enough light, not that the exposure was bad, but it's just crappy lighting, meaning that the light source is very poor quality. Um, God, I've spent 20 minutes on this image and I'm still not happy here. I'm gonna let me just manually do it. Let me white balance here maybe. Let me see what that does. It's gonna make this all back here really blue, but yeah, too much blue. Um, go a little higher maybe. All right, you know when lighting's this bad, I just have to go black and white. That's what I'm gonna do. I just cannot, I can't get the colors the way I want it. You know, this would be kind of interesting though. We could make this like a nighttime shot. Let me let me kill the light and see. Oh, no, that sucks. Hold on. Let's not do that. Let's just go to black and white. Ooh, I got so many pictures to get to. I have to work faster. Yeah, black and white is better. I'm sorry, Dev. When the light's messed up like that, I just can't deal with it. A little bit more here in the shadows. A little more dehaze and clarity. And let's see how that is. Rick is saying, Rob had a great crop earlier, slightly off center to the left, which worked because one eye was looking directly at us while the other was looking to the left. Sometimes you need imbalance. Yeah, it's kind of a mixed bag. Because when I focus in on the eyes, there's no... The other thing you can do, Deb, is... which camera was this? EM5 Mark II? If you have the little tiny flash that comes with the camera, use that. Set it to manual, set it to like 1/64th power, just so it generates a little catch light in the eyes without messing up the color. That would help a lot. So shoot manual flash, and it's in the super control panel, and then fire that, and that'll give you some catch light in the eyes rather than me trying to fake it a little bit with the clone tool. But yeah, I think this is the way to go. Is go black and white, because the color here, I just can't fix it. Not with Workspace anyway. I've been able to fix lighting like that with Lightroom to some extent, but okay. Wow, nice rainstorm back here. We'll get rid of all this sand, so we'll do a wide crop and capture this rainstorm. Forget about this. This is all clipped up here. And then balance this this island here with these sticks. And I think we got a good image. We might have to go black and white though, because the lighting is, again, not that great here. But yeah, this needs some dehaze. This needs a wide crop, 16:7. Balance the two things. Like so. and more dehaze. Let me just go crazy with that. Maybe not that much, right about there. A little bit on the blacks. And I'm gonna warm it up a tiny bit, but I don't think that's gonna work. Let me go to about 6,000 K. I don't think I got enough color to do any white balance fixing here. So take a tad off the highlights, maybe a tad more. We're gonna go to black and white. There's just not enough color in it to fix. So where's, here it is. Go with monotone and maybe a red filter. Maybe. Okay. And I really want to make the, I mean, a dramatic tone filter might work here, but I'll try that next. Let me look at the horizon. It feels a little bit off. No, horizon's fine. Okay. Let me see what a dramatic tone does real quick. Oh, no. Okay, I think this is the direction I would go. Let me, I'm thinking if I need this even, but I need some more blacks. Yeah, I like the waves in the sea. I need a little bit more black in the image and whites. I hate to do this because the highlights are already a little bit clipped. Maybe if I okay. This is Ian's image. Just a third of a stop, not a quarter. All right, I think that's what I would do here. So let's let this render a little bit and see. Is there a noise filter on this? Hold on. It's not done rendering yet. Ooh. I think I need a little bit more in the midtone here. Need a little bit more in the midtones. Yeah, I think that'll work. So let's let that render. Now I think in Lightroom it would do a better job with the highlights here on the ocean, but I can't do it in Workspace. Because these are clipped a little bit here in Workspace. Now I'd probably add a gradient filter here to crank up the contrast a little bit more in the sky, but I think this works as a black and white better than it did as a color. All right, nice image. I mean, before and after, just to get a feel for where I went, but there just wasn't enough color anywhere. It's mostly blue. The whole image is blue. So I thought if I warmed it up a little, it might bring some of the color back, but it didn't when I tried it. So I said, forget it. Let's just go black and white. And that was my rationale for going black and white, is when there's not enough color, just go black and white. I could probably split tone this a little bit. But yeah, I don't want to get too carried away, but that's the general idea. But yeah, nice landscape of the sea here. Really nice, Ian. See what we got here. I love these little like rivers and stuff. Look how nice and sharp this is. It's an EM5 Mark II 15mm, but what 15mm lens was this? I'm curious. This is the 14-to-150 kit lens. Really? I was just telling somebody I thought this lens felt a little soft, but it's not. It's not the lens, it's me. Okay. I like the reflection of the water in the sky here. I don't like this part. So I'm gonna crop so I get only all of this and lose a lot of this up here. So I think a 16:9 would do it. Lose this corner here. I think right there. Something's not right. I might have to go a little bit square. We try it this way. I'm not sure I like this either. Yeah, I don't like that either. Let me go back to 4:3. Maybe right there. Ugh. What if I lose all of those other boats? And then I'm losing all the sky and the water, so. Okay, and then let me try punching the colors up. And then what else can I do here? I think that's it. Let me look at the histogram. Yeah, we're pretty solid corner to corner. Maybe just a tad in the shadow. The only other, you know what might be interesting too is like instant film filter. And oh, there's no instant film here. Okay, so we can't do that. So I'll stick with the pop art. What are you saying, Bob? You preferred the square. Keep the big building in loose with the buildings at the end. And lose the buildings on the end. Maybe, but I think the problem with the square crop, I'll show you, is I felt like I was losing all of this over here, which I really liked. Can I go back just one? I'd like to capture more of the sky than the square crop was giving me. Yeah, that's okay. I don't really need to see all the building here because the reflection of it's right here. I was debating about getting rid of all of this too, actually. Let me see how much room there is. There's not much room now. And I'm losing too much sky that way, so I might need to go wider. 4 by let's do 3 by 2. I go lower. Let me see how that looks. You think that looks lopsided to you, huh? Doesn't bother me. I like this part here. I like this boat. Oh, I cut the boat off a little bit. Let me back off and get some more of that boat. Dang it. Now I lost all the sky. Bottom heavy, huh? Yeah. So what I can do... Yeah, it's bottom heavy. I see that, but I can't... I just don't like this building here at all. I think this is where I'm going to go. I mean, going a little bit wider might help. Let me cut this part off. And I don't like this either. I just don't like the sky right here. This kind of works, but I lost everything that I thought was interesting. This angle is just not working. Is there somebody here? No. So this is the 14 to 150. I would have probably cropped in like from a different angle. I don't know what I would have done. I would have done this scene a little differently. because there's a lot of good elements here. I just can't get them to work together. But I think, yeah, this square crop seems to work best. Let me check my balance here. So that's center, so that's pretty much centered. Okay, let's compare these two and see. I mean, at least now the picture is about this boat. But I like the original. I just didn't like the sky. Let me go back to the original crop. I think I'm just gonna stay with that. And see if there's any hope of bringing the highlights in. And then warm it up a bit. Okay, now I'm done. Except for this one part. I think that's what I would do. It's a little bit too warm. Shoot. There. All right, let's compare those two. Okay, well, I mean, I get it. We're trying to capture the reflections and everything, but this composition for this kind of shot just didn't work. If you wanted to capture the reflection, I like the reflection right in here. This part of the sky is bothering me. But anytime I tried to crop it in a way that would get rid of that sky, it just didn't work either. You know, like if I just wanted this part, what does that do? I mean, that kind of works. I like this better than the actually the original. So, all right, that's my final answer. I would just go with this. I mean, I like the wider crop in some ways, and then other ways I don't. So I'm just gonna have to focus in on the only part that I really like. Because I like these wavy lines here. I like all of this. And all of this just doesn't matter to me. That's why I was kind of cropping it. But then everybody said it looked unbalanced, so okay, let's do we got, oh crap, there's so many here. I might have to come back. I'm running out of time now. John Allen, gosh, are you still here, John? Why is this soft? You misfocus. That's not a render issue. That's just totally missed focus. Man. And then all the perspective errors here, right? Distortion. It's a beautiful church. It just, you misfocus. I mean, you could brighten it a little here, bring up the shadows. And Yeah, on that previous image, Rick, I tried to do only the reflections, but it's just the angle is so off. Actually, I have an idea now. I might come back to it. But yeah, this image here is just out of focus, so I'm not going to do too much to it. It just needs a little bit of correction here. So a little bit this way and a little bit this way. And then let's tilt it, and then we'll crop that stupid van out. I mean, I don't know. Maybe there's something about the juxtaposition of this van with the church. There could be something there. DHL's delivering souls. That's funny. Where's my 3x4? This might work, actually. Something like... Let's just make this van work. We need more space on the bottom of the van. Then I could make this van work, but the way it is now, I can't get the van to work in this image. And if we cut the van out, we lose too much of the building. So yeah, John, this one needs a lot of work, John. Basically, you need if you want that van to work, if you're trying to go for that juxtaposition, it needs to be framed better in the frame. You need more at the bottom. Then I would crop it somewhere in here so you could see the door and the truck, because those two go together, right? And then you could point the angle down straighter so you don't have all this distortion of the building look like it's leaning back. So you're gonna have to crop in tighter, or you're gonna have to straighten your shot. You're gonna lose the top, but it doesn't matter for this shot. I would have pointed straighter, got more space underneath the van, and cropped it in right here, and got this shot of the van in front of the door. If you had focus, you might see the sign that says, you know, deliveries in the back. So now you have the driver all frustrated because he has to get back in his van and go to the back, right? But okay, I'm gonna move on because that one's out of focus and everything else. Let's see. This is a fisheye, right? 8mm. Yeah, it's a fisheye. I feel like I've seen this one before. Ben, this is another Ben picture. Benny's picture. But yeah, everything's kind of blown out here in the sky, so we don't really need it anymore. And this should be a black and white. Oh, this is yours, Nature? Yeah. Okay, so I would go black and white because there's... I mean, I like the way the tree's being kind of framed by everything here. But I don't think there's any saving the sky at this point. Let me just try dramatic tone 2 real quick. Yeah, there's no saving that sky. So we're gonna have to stay black and white, and let's get rid of that sky, all of that, if we can, like that, and bring some of the blacks back in. And then I'm gonna tilt it. Where's my, this way? Let's go square, because I just want to capture the framing. Do I have enough room? Oh, I'm losing the framing, but let me see. Yeah, I lost all the framing. I can't tilt it enough. I need to go over. Okay. A little bit more over here. All right. I think this is all I can do. Maybe that. Yeah, I like the tree too. It's really interesting. But you got to be able to frame the tree somehow. I'm trying to think what I would do different if I were there exposure-wise. Because if I wanted to bring the sky in, then everything else is silhouette, so you'd have to bracket the shot to capture everything. So I think that's the only way to capture this shot, is you're gonna have to bracket them and do an HDR of some kind on a less cloudy day. You still want clouds, but probably not as many as there was there. Then this shot would work a little better. All right, let's move to the next one. John Rayner. What is that? Parasail guy. Interesting. Man, it's too bad it's so tiny. Yeah, the UK is always cloudy, yeah. So you're gonna have to bracket the shot either way. Man, I like everything here. It's too bad this is too small to be useful. Because now it looks like a dust speck on the lens. It doesn't look like a parasailer or a glider. Maybe full screen this to have it be more interesting. What would be perfect if this was a little tighter shot, so this is a little bigger, and then make this like a partial color where this is the only thing in color in the image, so it makes a nice accent to all of these mountains. So that's what I would do, is I would crop this like this. And then, I mean, it doesn't have to be a square crop, it just has to be tighter. Let me try. Okay, Rick, we'll see you on this, our Nature with Music. Yeah. Okay. Thanks for coming in. Sorry I'm taking so long today. I don't know, I just got behind after the first couple of edits. Somehow we got to make this guy work with the image. Otherwise, cut it out completely. And just go with the mountains. I think this is it. Oh, I hate to brush the guy out, but now like he's a distraction, right? So and just focus on the sky here. Bring a little more clarity into the sky. I think that's where I would go. It's a bit too much, but yeah. Maybe back it off a little bit. Maybe just a little bit wider. I think that's all I would do. It's kind of one of those missed opportunity shots. It's too bad, this guy. But since this guy is so tiny, it's just a distraction now. So I just wanted to focus on the mountains. And if I had the raw image, I think the transitions would be a lot smoother than I could get. Because I'm seeing a little bit of banding with the editing I did, but this is where I would go. Because if you could bring out more of this mountain instead of this banding that I got, this would be really interesting shot. Without that dude there. All right, last one. Whew. Okay, Plato. Yeah, I'm getting tired too, man. I've been streaming for 4 hours now. Let's see. Pop art or black and white. Let's see. Instant film. One last. Yeah, that works. And then let's warm it up a tiny bit. Yeah, it needs more sky textural player on the mountain scene, but all I had was the JPEG and it was almost all gone already. So I would need the raw image to bring it back a little more, and use Lightroom. But I can't do it in Workspace with the controls that I have and the JPEG. Oh, I think this is all I need. This is Jeff Heron. Okay. Either that or a vintage filter. I'm sorry, I'm just playing around here. Ooh, that's interesting. I like that. And I mean, dramatic tone is not great on foliage and stuff. But that's crazy on the sky. I need the raw image to do a better job with the dramatic tone filter. So let's do monotone manually. And then just crank the dehaze and stuff. Bring this up. Something like that. Okay, I think this works. Let's compare before and after. I need a red filter on this monochrome, and then I think I'll be done. Dramatic wasn't bad, right? Yeah, I agree, Bob. It wasn't too bad. Let me just put a red filter on this. And I don't know if I can bring... Let me see how that looks. Yeah, I think this works. Like I said, if I had the raw image, there'd be a little less banding in the sky here. So you could go really crazy with dramatic tone filter on number 2 and really bring this out. I'm not sure about the bottom here. I'm wondering if I should crop that out. So I like the white framing too. But I'm thinking this image might work without that little bit of foreground there. So let me use a 3x4. I think that'll work. Something like that. This was okay. I just didn't like this part. Is that a guy standing there? That can't be. That can't be. Nobody's that tiny. But that almost looks like a guy is standing there. Hold on. I gotta hold on. Why am I not being able to zoom here? No, that's not a guy. That's a flower. But anyhow, yeah, I think I would go with this or dramatic tone 2. That's a little heavy-handed. I might have to take off some of my other edits. Yeah, it's just not going to work on a JPEG. So let me bring these back in. And maybe a tiny bit of vignette this way. The frame is an anti-cropping device. That's funny. Okay, I think this is what I would do with it overall. It needs more contrast. Maybe not that much. But all right. That's where I would go with this. That looks pretty good. I wish these trees had a little more contrast in them. I'd have to play with the color filters a little bit to get these to stand out separate from the grass. And then what color was that building? That was a brown? No, it's gray. So I'd have to play with the greens to get everything to separate right. But that's the direction I would go. Whew, boy, I didn't even talk about where I'll have to make another post about a picture I want you guys to try to edit that's mine. So check either my forum or my community tab on my YouTube channel. I have a community tab, and I'll post a link to an image you can download that I took that really sucks, but if you might see something that I don't in the image, because I think the subject is very interesting, but I couldn't make a good shot of it. Maybe I got the wrong angle. Maybe there's no saving it, but it'll be fun to try, right? So thanks again for everybody submitting your images. I really appreciate it. They were great, and we'll see you guys again on Sunday.